On this Make It Once video, some metal work on the Weber. That out. So that is this, you can see it is this worn out. I mean, it's losing 30 seconds there. So that's why there's so much slop. And then this thing is bent. Probably just needs to be replaced. So I'm going to try very gently to tap this back into place. If it looks like I'm deforming anything, I'm just going to stop. But I think this is pretty... I think what I'm going to do is put one of these little screws back in so that it doesn't deform the hole. So, tiny little bit. I don't want to go any further. I feel that if I hit it any harder, it's going to fatigue the metal. It might crack there. So, a little bit of straightening. I'm just going to put it all back together now. So by opening the brass plate hole up a little bit, that it overlaps so the thread doesn't go in. These screws were having a hard time lining up, but I think I got it lined up and the little plate adjusted. I think because the pin bent, the threads kind of stretched a little bit on this side. Adjust it all. So, I don't know if you remember, compared to before, it was getting stuck. This is the way it's supposed to be. Completely sealed and loose, so that the whole thing is being held up by the actual choke wire. Get off carefully. So it's been sitting for quite a while, but if you look down in the bowl, it's brown. So that's what dried up ethanol gas looks like. Get some more of that crud out of there and clean up all the orifices and the jets in there. My camera battery was dying yesterday when I was working on this, so I didn't get a good explanation of what's going on. So I rebent the choke axle or pin or whatever this is, and I opened up the butterfly hole so that it would actually fit. So if you can see, it actually seals pretty well. There's still some slop because it's worn out, but it seals well, and that's exactly what we want. It's not quite perfectly set up. Need to adjust a little bit more, but when I was doing this, I was just kind of doing that, and it felt some resistance, and I kind of pushed it in, and what had happened is it got jammed And then on this end, it was bent here. So I think it had gotten jammed and then released, and the pressure kind of pushed it in and bent it. And there's a really severe bend here. That looks like somebody did it on purpose. I'm gonna straighten that out. It goes into this lever mechanism right here. So it's supposed to go from here to there in a straight line. Whoops. But with that bend in it, I think we're losing leverage, so it wasn't actually pulling the full length. And that was causing so much tension on the other end. And because it was getting jammed and it's not lubed very well, or maybe it's just missing lube, there's just too much tension. So that's what, a lot of those issues. So I'm going to use a little trick to get some dry lube with Teflon. There's graphite, and some people just say oil, but I like dry lube with my experience from bicycles. It doesn't gum up, and it just kind of wears out over time. It doesn't bind up. It doesn't make a big old mess. Okay. Okay, couldn't really show you what I was doing, but let's take a look. So one of the things was the cable was spun around and the loop was facing the wrong way, so I was losing about 1/4 inch of leverage. And that actually means a lot when you're trying to pull all the way out and back. So there's a slight change of angle, but now we have the full leverage, right? So now if we push it all the way in, and this is something that didn't used to work, is that the choke didn't used to go all the way in there. It's perfectly vertical, all the way open. And when we pull it all the way out carefully, I can get the plates all the way closed. I don't know about you, but it looks to me like this spring is completely compressed. I think this is bottomed out or jammed in there. I've never noticed this before.